Welcome back to the deep dive. So you've sent us a stack of sources that all promise this ultimate shortcut to productivity. And today we're diving deep into the secrets of people who, well, they seem to bend time itself.
Yeah.
We're looking at the core wisdom from Kevin E. Kruse's 15 Secrets Successful People Know About Time Management, which he got from interviewing, some of the planet's most effective operators.
We're talking billionaires, Olympians, top-tier entrepreneurs.
Exactly. So our mission today is to move you permanently beyond the anxiety of the to-do list.
Right.
This isn't just about working harder. It's about the concrete, disciplined steps that turn, busy activity into actual meaningful results.
We're really aiming for the operating system that separates the wildly successful from those who just feel perpetually overwhelmed.
And that separation starts right away, doesn't it? With a fundamental shift in mindset.
It does. True productivity, as our sources define it, is results-oriented, not action-oriented.
What's the difference there?
Well, if you're busy all day but nothing really meaningful changes by the evening, you haven't been productive.
You've just been active.
You've just been active. Successful time management is all about structuring your daily decisions around achieving the most important outcomes.
Okay, let's unpack this foundational idea because it really hinges on a simple but pretty profound truth.
Which is that time is our most valuable asset.
Absolutely finite. Once you spend a minute, it is gone forever. You can never get it back.
Unlike money, you can earn money, lose it, earn it again. But time is just a strict one-way street.
And the successful people, they treat it with that level of reverence.
That appreciation informs every single tactic they use. And it leads to that first big paradigm shift.
Which is eliminating low-value activities.
Exactly. So a typical person looks at their workload and asks, what needs to be done on this list?
Right.
But the highly successful person, they stop and they ask a different question.
What result do I need to achieve today?
That moves my overarching goal forward. Yes. And if an activity doesn't align with that result, it's likely busy work.
And it gets eliminated or delegated.
Which ensures their energy goes into things that actually move the needle instead of, spending 8 hours on 10 low-impact tasks.
That makes perfect sense philosophically, but the challenge for you listening is how do you translate that high-level focus into the, minute-by-minute chaos of a normal day?
You have to gather data, and you have to build structures.
Which brings us to the first practical step the sources highlight.
Time auditing.
Time auditing. That sounds tedious, frankly.
It is, but it's necessary because we are terrible, absolutely terrible judges of where our time actually goes.
So what does that look like?
It means meticulously documenting every single daily activity down to, say, 5 or 10-minute chunks for at least a week.
And I bet most people discover they're just losing massive amounts of time.
Oh yeah, on things like transitioning in between tasks, checking notifications, or just minor administrative stuff.
It's like installing a mileage tracker on your brain. And once you have that cold, hard data,
then you can start to reallocate it. And this audit feeds directly into the second powerful technique, time blocking.
Right. Time blocking. That's the antidote to the open-ended to-do list.
It is. It means assigning specific, dedicated periods in your calendar for distinct tasks.
And this isn't just scheduling meetings, right? It's scheduling the work itself.
Yes. For example, Monday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. is blocked for deep work, strategy document draft.
And that structured approach, it fosters discipline.
And crucially, it minimizes the notorious productivity killer we all know as multitasking.
Because when you know you only have 120 minutes for something, your focus just sharpens dramatically. You stop context switching.
You do.
But I have to challenge that a bit. That sounds great for a CEO with an assistant, but what about someone who faces constant interruptions? A customer service manager, say, or a parent at home.
That's where the discipline comes in, and the concept is scalable. It's not about being totally isolated.
So how does it scale?
For someone like that, time blocking might shift from a single 2-hour block to maybe several 30-minute blocks of focused work.
And then you block out time for the interruptions.
Exactly. A catch-up in communication hour specifically for responding to emails and those interruptions. It's about building a rhythm.
I love that. And then there's the concept of micro-productivity.
Which is all about those tiny fragmented gaps in our day that we just waste.
The 3 minutes waiting for an elevator.
The 5 minutes while the kettle boils. Or the 10 minutes waiting for a meeting to start instead of just checking social media.
You use those 90 seconds to process 2 emails.
Or define your top 3 priorities for the next hour. These tiny gains, they accumulate massively over weeks and months.
And what's fascinating here is that this kind of mastery, it's not just about corporate deliverables.
No, not at all.
Cruise really emphasizes that this is the only way to genuinely achieve work-life balance.
When you master your minutes, you carve out protected time for family, for hobbies, for self-care. It connects the dots perfectly.
Efficiency in work enables fulfillment in life.
That's it.
Which brings us to the tactical challenge.
Yeah.
Identifying which tasks actually deserve this protected time.
Right.
So let's move into prioritization and focusing on the critical few.
Okay, so this is where we dive into probably the most foundational principle of productivity, the Pareto principle.
Otherwise known as the 80-20 rule. What does that look like in a time management context?
The 80-20 rule basically says that roughly 80% of your results will come from just 20% of your efforts.
So not all tasks are created equal.
Not even close. And successful people, they put intense effort into finding that critical 20%. They channel all their energy into the high leverage activities.
But identifying that 20% must be really hard. If I'm just busy all the time, everything feels like the 100%.
Well, the friction is that it's counterintuitive. Busy people tend to prioritize what's easy or what's urgent.
But successful people prioritize what's hard and impactful.
Exactly. They get that clarity by constantly asking, will this specific activity directly contribute to my single most important goal this quarter? If the answer is no.
It's not in the 20%.
It's not.
So once they've identified those critical tasks, they need a system to prioritize them.
And that's where something like the Eisenhower matrix comes in.
Ah, yes.
It's brilliant because it forces you to think about tasks based on 2 things, urgency and importance. And that creates 4 quadrants.
You have urgent and important. Those are crises, deadlines.
Then you have important but not urgent. This is planning, relationships, self-improvement.
Quadrant 3 is urgent but not important interruptions, some emails.
And the last one is neither urgent nor important, which is just time wasting.
And here's the really interesting part. Successful people spend the vast majority of their time in that second quadrant.
The important but not urgent category, absolutely.
Why there?
Because those are the strategic tasks, relationship building, long-term planning. They are the true drivers of long-term success.
And they're the ones we are most likely to procrastinate on.
Because there's no immediate penalty for delaying them. So protecting that second quadrant is the key to moving from constantly fighting fires to intentionally building your future.
And to protect that time for quadrant 2, they use 2 essential habits. First up is delegation.
Which is so often misunderstood as just, offloading work you don't want to do.
But Cruz says it's a strategy.
It's a strategy to maximize your time value by leveraging other people's capabilities. The goal is to free you up for tasks that only you can do.
But for listeners who might not manage a team or have an assistant, how does that principle of delegation translate?
It translates into automated delegation and process delegation. First, you use tech to delegate repetitive tasks.
Okay.
Second, you delegate decision-making authority, even in your household, so you aren't the bottleneck for every little thing.
And the flip side of delegation, which I think requires even more mental discipline, is the art of saying no.
The ultimate gatekeeper of your time. Because saying yes to a low-value request means you are saying no to something else.
Something in that vital, important but not urgent category.
And you hit on a key psychological point earlier. Saying no to a small request often feels harder than a big one because it's usually from people we like.
So what are the strategies for saying no gracefully?
The sources suggest 3 things. First, clarify your own priorities before the request even comes in.
So you have an objective reason.
Right. Second, use honest and tactful communication. Don't lie, just be clear about your constraints.
And third,
Offer alternatives. Suggest other resources. If you can't share the committee, maybe you can recommend someone else or offer to review a single document.
that strategic refusal, that leads us right into how they structure their day to protect that precious quadrant 2 time. Let's shift to their daily systems, starting with daily planning.
Daily planning is all about intentional design, usually done the evening before or first thing in the morning.
It's not just a checklist.
No, it's allocating specific blocks of time to the crucial activities that drive those primary goals we just identified. If you don't design your day, someone else will.
And setting up a focused morning routine, journaling, planning, a quick review, that's a form of pre-commitment, right?
It sets an immediately productive tone. It primes the mind for success before the day can derail you.
And the counterpart to that planning, which is often skipped, is reflection.
The end-of-day review. This is where they assess efficiency. They look at the plan they made and see where they deviated.
And ask why.
Why did that happen? Was it a real crisis? Or was it just a lack of discipline? And this isn't about beating yourself up.
It's data collection.
Pragmatic data collection. This feedback loop is how they stay agile and focused without being brittle.
Of course, none of this works in the modern world without leveraging technology intelligently.
Right. Successful people use tech not just to consume, but to streamline, automate, and minimize waste. They use tools to offload that cognitive burden.
Things like project management software, like Trello or Asana, for their personal task management.
Exactly.
And the really powerful tools are the automation platforms. Let's give a concrete example. Tools like Zapier or IFTTT.
For instance, instead of manually downloading project reports every Friday and saving them,
You set up a simple trigger. If a report arrives in this folder, then automatically upload it to the shared drive and notify my key stakeholders.
and that frees up substantial time that was once spent on just repetitive manual data management.
Then there's email management, which is a huge time drain for everyone.
The sources highlight smart apps like Spark and Edison Mail, which have features like snoozing, smart sorting, one-click unsubscribe.
The goal isn't to read emails faster.
It's to reduce the sheer volume so you can reserve your deep focus for those high-priority tasks we talked about.
But there's a necessary caution here.
A huge one. Avoid over-reliance on technology. Boundaries are crucial. If you let digital tools constantly buzz and demand your attention, they overwhelm you.
They lead straight to digital fatigue.
Technology must serve your plan, not drive your behavior.
That makes perfect sense. And these daily systems, these tools, they're only effective if they're built on a solid foundation.
Which, as the sources reveal, is consistent habits and routines.
That's the cornerstone of long-term success.
It is. The power of habits is that they automate actions. When you don't have to decide when you'll exercise, or check email, or write.
You free up those cognitive resources for complex creative work.
Decision fatigue is a real thing, and habits are the defense against it.
And here's the key data point that just demands commitment. Research suggests it takes, on average, 66 days to form a new habit.
66 days until it becomes automatic. This isn't an overnight thing, it's a dedicated 2-month discipline.
And that period is critical, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. You need total commitment through day 40, which is usually the point of highest resistance. If you stick with it, you free up your future self from having to use willpower on that task.
And we see the evidence everywhere Cruz looks. Stephen King has that famously rigid writing routine every morning without fail.
And former President Barack Obama credits his early morning exercise and reading habits as foundational to his ability to manage, well, everything.
Routine is the bedrock.
And this extends beyond the desk. They prioritize health and well-being, exercise, sleep, mindful eating, because they know those aren't just lifestyle choices.
They're fundamental productivity tools.
You need sustained energy and focus to tackle complex problems. It's a holistic approach to performance.
And another crucial habit they all share is continuous learning. They allocate protected time for it,
We see that with Bill Gates' famous Think Weeks.
where he just retreats to read and analyze and think.
It's a regular investment in self-improvement that keeps them innovative, and it keeps them squarely in that important but not urgent quadrant.
So if we tie all this together, the result is huge.
Immense. This mastery goes way beyond professional metrics. It leads to a more fulfilling personal life with less stress, a greater sense of control, and more satisfaction.
So let's do a quick recap of the path we took today. We started by redefining productivity as results, not just action.
The fundamental mindset shift.
Then we dove into tactical prioritization, the 80-20 rule, the Eisenhower matrix, delegation, and saying no.
Right.
Then we moved to the daily system of planning and reflection. And finally, we anchored it all in the power of consistent habits, acknowledging that 66-day commitment.
And since time is our most valuable and irrecoverable asset, and forming a habit takes roughly 66 days, the true measure of success might not be what you get done today, but rather what foundation you set in the next 2 months.
So the question we leave you with for reflection is this.
What essential high-leverage habit, be it 30 minutes of deep work, daily planning, or simply refusing interruptions, what will you commit to mastering first in that 66-day window?
Because that initial disciplined investment is the single greatest amplifier of your results for years to come.
The power to stop being busy and start being productive is right there. It just takes that disciplined start.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.